When you think about comedy, right, there are certain figures who just transcend language, people who can make you laugh without uttering a single word.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think today's deep dive, we're looking at a prime example of that, Mr. Bean. And you've given me some really great material to work with here to kind of explore his origins and his impact, across TV, film, animation, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So let's kind of pull out some of those most fascinating insights, eh?
Sounds good. Looking at what you've got here, it seems like Mr. Bean, who, correct me if I'm wrong, debuted on ITV January 1st, 1990, right?
Right.
He didn't just appear out of nowhere. Rowan Atkinson and Richard Curtis, the minds behind this character, they were very intentional about looking back at comedy, for inspiration.
Right.
So you've got Jacques Tati's Monsieur Hulot.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant, right? Observational humor. And then, of course, the classics, the silent film legends like Charlie Chaplin.
Right.
Echoes of both of them. You can really see it in Bean's antics.
Absolutely. And the way Atkinson described Mr. Bean was as, and I think we all kind of remember this, a child in a grown man's body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is so concise,
That's
right?
perfect. Yes.
It really captures that essence of him, right? Just that sort of primal, self-centered way of dealing with everyday things. So what do you think that unlocks for the comedy, that core characteristic?
Well, what's really interesting about that is that because he's got that childlike perspective, you can kind of strip away all of the social conventions, right?
Right.
Bean's just operating on a very basic level, needs and desires, and that's where the humor comes from. This clash between that simplicity and then just how complicated the world actually is as an adult.
Right.
I think it's something we can all relate to, even if we don't actually act on those impulses,
Absolutely. Now, here's a funny thing. For all of his global fame, Mr. Bean, the original TV series, it's only 15 episodes.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
That's it. From 1990 to 95.
Yeah.
And yet each one of them, you look back, they're all iconic. Why do you think such a small amount of work had such a big impact?
Okay, so if you connect this to the bigger picture of comedy as a whole, right?
Yeah.
The minimal dialogue.
Yeah.
That's key. It makes the humor so incredibly accessible, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't need to understand English or any specific language to get what he's going through, the situations he finds himself in.
It's all physical.
The way he's trying to solve things, it's brilliant. And that, I think, is a huge factor in why it was so internationally successful. Over 190 countries,
Wow.
according to this. And then, on top of all that, the physical comedy, just so well executed.
So precise. Now, how do we get from there to an animated series, which ran for quite a while, 2002 to 2019?
Oh, wow.
What did animation do for the character?
Okay, so with the animated series, they keep Atkinson's voice, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is important, but it opened up a whole new world of possibilities, for storytelling.
Right.
You can do all sorts of things with animation. That would be much harder to do live action. Like, you could have more outlandish scenarios, bring in new characters. Think about the cost and the logistics of that in live action.
Really, yeah.
And it keeps things fresh, and I think it introduced them to a whole new generation of fans.
And then, of course, the movies.
Yeah.
We got Bean in 1997, classic. The whole art gallery, the chaos, the whole thing. So putting him in a new cultural context like America, how did that change things comedically?
Oh, man, that film just nails the fish out of water trope.
Yeah.
Like, you take this character, plop them in a totally unfamiliar environment, and all those unique traits, they just explode, right? And Bean,
Oh, yeah.
he's made for that. So his obliviousness, that chaos that he brings, it all works so well in America because you've got all these cultural misunderstandings.
Right.
Just brilliant.
And then you go to Mr. Bean's Holiday in 2007, south of France. Classic Bean.
Oh, yeah. More mishaps.
More comedic mishaps. But these movies, they really solidified him as a global icon.
Absolutely. They proved that the character could handle these longer narratives, and keep generating laughs, even with barely any dialogue. It's like the ultimate proof of concept, right? Universal appeal. And as we said, synonymous with British humor worldwide.
Amazing.
Which is quite a legacy, I'd say.
It is. And even today, right, even if he's semi-retired, you get those occasional appearances, like the Olympics, London 2012.
Right.
People just go crazy.
Yeah.
So to kind of sum up everything, what do you think are the main reasons for Mr. Bean's lasting appeal?
I think it boils down to that blend of, you've got this rich tradition of silent comedy, that's the foundation, but then you layer on that childlike, mischievous personality, and it's just magic, and it works across cultures, across languages. It's amazing.
So this deep dive into Mr. Bean, it kind of leads us with a really interesting question, doesn't it? Because here's a character who says very, very little, but he's touched so many people across so many cultures for so long. So what is it about humor, about human connection, that he really taps into? It's something I think is worth thinking about long after we're done here.
Yeah, absolutely. Food for thought.